Good morning, Craig Howard here. I'm trying to get over here in this corner out of the sunshine so I'm not washed out, but beautiful day today. I'm headed back up to Johnstown this morning to take care of some legal matters for Tracy and for my Uncle Richard, and so I'll be heading off here pretty soon, and then from there I've got to go to Woodstock, Virginia for another meeting. But today is just a day that today is an unusual day in one sense. Today, at least in West Virginia, is the opening day of early voting, and I got to thinking about that. Did you know that if in the first chapter of Deuteronomy that there was a time when the nation of Israel more or less operated as a democracy? They were just about to go into the promised land, and it's kind of at the end of Moses's time, and the nation had grown. I mean, the people had multiplied, the nation had grown and become a huge number of people, and Moses said, "There's too many of you for me to govern myself or for me to oversee myself." And so he said, choose heads of your tribe. He told them, choose heads of your tribes and choose heads over smaller groups and so on and so forth, and bring those names to me, and I will appoint them as your heads, and they will help with the governance of the nation of Israel. And the people talked about it, and they said, this is a good thing. And so that's what they did. They appointed heads over their tribes and judges over different groups within the tribes. And that's how the nation of Israel was governed until they had a king. It was under the direction of some of the prophets. But we sometimes don't think about how important it is for us to take part in the God-given opportunities that God gives us. We've got an election before us. It's a monumental election. It's a difficult election because there's so many issues and so many things to consider, but it's before us nonetheless. And today begins early voting. Most people by now have made up their mind one way or another. I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to vote, and I'm not going to tell you how to vote. But I am going to tell you, you should go vote. Whether you vote in early voting or whether you vote later, God's given you an opportunity to participate in this country in this way. And you shouldn't take that lightly. You shouldn't think that that's somehow not important or unnecessary. It's a privilege that God has given you. And so, as you have the opportunity, whether you go to the early voting polls or whether you choose to wait until the November elections and vote that way, take the opportunity. Cast your vote. We may not agree on the same candidate. Ultimately the Bible says that God raises up the leader. And so it's my belief that whoever wins the election, that God had his reason for electing that person, and I'm going to support them, and I'm going to pray for them. I might not agree with them in everything, but that's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to uphold them in prayer. So take part in the process, because you, as a voter, you become an agent of God to accomplish the will that he wants accomplished. So take the time to vote, realize God's given you that chance, and pray before you go that God will direct you to cast your vote correctly as he would have you to. Well, I got to get moving. Got a full day ahead of me, and I'll see you, Lord willing. I'll be in Johnstown. I'll see you tomorrow from Johnstown. Take care. God bless.